Hello, 8th standard CBSE children. Have a good day. Have a nice day. Today we are going to do video number 16 as chapter 10, Role of Hormones, part 4. Right? We are doing this lesson already with the previous video session. Now we are doing later half of the lesson as chapter 10, reaching the age of adolescence. That I name it as Role of Hormone part 4. Right? And this video 16 includes completing the lesson, the last half portion of the lesson chapter 10, and then we are going to discuss assignment 13, 14, 15 and 16. I hope you follow. And this video session 16, as I said, we are going to do this. We already done role of hormones, and then we have learned about menstruation, menopause, menarche, and then sex determination. Continuation of this is this lesson, right? Now, what you're seeing in this figure is Adam's apple. What do we know? Adam's apple is a change in voice box, that is change due to adolescence. When a person attains maturity, there are changes taking place. This Adam's apple formation is one of the characteristic features that you can find in boys, right? That is nothing but protuberance in the voice box. Can you see the projection here? So this is the projection of the voice box that occurs mainly in male. That is called Adam's apple. Now we'll continue this video session 16 as lesson of that. Okay. Now what you're seeing is the lesson or PDF. If you got the book, you please take it. Chapter 10, reaching the age of adolescence. Right. And here we have said in what is it? 9th chapter, we have learned about reproduction in animals, is it not? And now we are going to do about adolescence and puberty. What do you know? Growing up is a natural process in the paragraph. The paragraph. Growing up is a natural process. The period of life when the body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity is called adolescence. I repeat, growing up is a natural process. The period of life when body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity is called adolescence. Now, adolescence, it begins around the age of 11 and lasts up to 18 to 19 years. Since this period covers the teens, that is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19 children, and they are also known as teenagers. So these adolescents group, they are also known as teenagers, right? In girls, adolescence may begin a year or two earlier than boys. Also, the period of adolescence, it varies from person to person. Right? So now this adolescence, what's the definition you will say? Can you recollect? Growing up is a natural process. The period of life when the body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity is called adolescence. Okay, and it begins around the age of 11 and lasts up to 18 or 19 years of age. What can you say for adolescence? Natural process, period of life when a body undergoes changes. Children. Body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity. The next one, the human body undergoes several changes during adolescence. The human body undergoes several changes during adolescence. These changes mark the onset of puberty. Right? The most important change which marks the puberty is that boys and girls become capable of reproduction. That's very important. Right? The most important change which marks the puberty is that boys and girls become capable of reproduction. And puberty ends when an adolescent reaches reproductive maturity. Once reproduction starts, the puberty the reproduction life cycle will go on. I hope you follow. So in the two paragraph, note paniko definition for adolescence and puberty. Are you clear? Then this reproductive maturity, due to that, changes at puberty. There are several changes that can be noticed in boys and girls. Right? First one is increase in height. Normally, a boy or girl or 5th, 6th standard height. Sudden 7th, 8th, 9th, there is a vast change in the boys and girls, especially the height of them. Is it not? That is due to the most conspicuous change during puberty is the sudden increase in height. At this time, the long bones, that is, bones of the arms and the legs, elongate and make the person tall. So there is a calculation for full height. Normally, our paiyan height yeah, that is, say for example, for a 9 years old boy, here is a table given for a percentage, age in years, percentage of full height for boys and girls, right? For a 9 years old boy, or 75% height old. That can be calculated as a boy is 9 years old and 120 centimeter tall at that age, right? At the end of growth period, he is likely to be ever heighted one. I hope you follow. That's a formula. Present height by percentage of full height at this stage. Present height on the 120. Then percentage of full height on the table the percentage. That is 75% into 100. So that boy will be, at the end of growth period, he is likely to be 160 centimeter tall. So that is increase in height. Same way with the girls. Boys mari girls rumba changes. Yeah. And then with the comparison as comparison for boys and girls. Changes. Difference in changes in boys and girls that could be noted clearly. Right? And then change in body shape. Normally, the muscles of the body grow more prominently in boys than the girls. And then the change in body shape on the hip or the waist portion of the girls will become widened than the boys. Whereas the shoulders are broadened as a result of growth. For the boys, the broader shoulder and wider chest than the boys, whereas girls hip, waist wider. I hope you are listening. Boys shoulder pressure, girls hip, waist that will become wider. Right? The muscles of the body grow more prominently than in girls. Changes occurring in adolescent boys and girls is different. They are different. Then, as we said in introduction, voice box or Adam's apple. Adam's apple is the protuberance or projection of the voice box or the larynx in the throat portion of the voice. Well, Adam's apple is the main voice. Sila boys project that is at puberty, the voice box or larynx begins to grow. The boys develop larger voice box. The growing voice box in boys can be seen as protruding part of the throat. in the picture introduction that is protruding part of the throat, and that is called Adam's apple. I hope you follow. Whereas in girls, larynx is hardly visible from outside because it is small size. Girls la vandu avlo changes vandu namakku theriyadu, right? Generally girls have high pitched voice, whereas boys will have deep voice. I repeat, girls will have high pitched voice than the boys, right? Then in adolescent boys, sometimes muscles of the glowing voice box go out of control and voice becomes hoarse. And the changes it will be for a very short period, not for a long time. It is only for a short period. Later, he will become normal. So that is for Adam's apple or voice. I hope you follow. The Adam's apple diagram yeah. And then increased activity of sweat and sebaceous gland. Now there is a description of sweat gland secretes sweat from the skin. Another skin is having two layers, outer dermis and lower than is the hypodermis or the dermis, which contains nerves, muscles, blood vessels, along with the sweat gland and sebaceous gland. They are also present. The sweat gland will secrete sweat, and sebaceous gland is an oily secretion that is called sebum. Sometimes when we do more work, when we are tired, that is sebum. This is a description video. Okay. The next one. This another important development of sex organ at puberty. Male sex organ like testis and penis develop completely. Testis also begin to produce sperms. Same way in girls, the ovary enlarges and eggs begin to mature. Also, ovary will start releasing the mature eggs, and that release of ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. And then next one is reaching the mental, intellectual and emotional maturity. As I said in my previous video session, this is very, very important. Now, ஏனில ரெண்டு கட்டை இருக்கு, ஒன்னு பேரண்ட், ஒன்னு ஸ்கூல்ல உள்ள ஸ்கூல் டீச்சர்ஸ். நடுவில் அந்த படி இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதுதான் உன்னோட எல்கேஜி டு ப்ரீகேஜி டு 12th standard, right? So during your school life, you climb up slowly. Pre-KG, LKG, UKG, இப்படி வரிசை 12th வரைக்கும் வருவார். எப்போ எப்படி பேரண்ட்ஸும் ஸ்கூல் டீச்சர்ஸும் கையை பிடிச்சு ஏனில ஏற்றி விட்டுருவாங்க, right? After 12th standard, nobody will drop you to the colleges. Yeah. So you have to adjust yourself, you have to accommodate yourself. You have reached the adolescent age. You have reached the mental, intellectual and emotional maturity. Okay. So now the story, it is up to you to select or to move in a positive way. Good attitude irukkanam, positive attitude irukkanam, good friend circle irukkanam, நல்ல எண்ணம் நல்ல சிந்தனை சொல்லுவாங்க அந்த மாதிரி. Other than that, the negative thinking or the bad friend circle other than that behavior you should be good enough or clever enough to move in a good circle according to your mental, intellectual and emotional maturity. In the period you should be doubly careful. I hope you understand. So அதனால தான் நீ காலேஜுக்கு வந்தாட்டு யாருமே புத்தி சொல்ல மாட்டான், உனக்கு நீயாவே டிசைட் பண்ணிப்ப இல்லையா. அதை உனக்கு நல்ல யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும், சொசைட்டில நல்ல பெயர் வாங்குற பையனாவோ கேர்ளாவோ இருக்கும் இல்லையா. அதுதான் this adolescent period is a very important stage, right? So we say adolescence is a period of change in person's way of thinking. Adolescents are more independent than before and are also self-conscious. Intellectual development takes place and they tend to spend considerable time thinking. In fact, it is often the time in one's life when brain has greatest capacity for learning. Sometimes, however, an adolescent may feel insecure while trying to adjust the changes in the body and mind. But as adolescent learners, you should know that there is no reason to feel insecure. You should be bold enough to accept the changes in positive way. Right? These changes are a natural part of growing. I hope you follow. So this stage is a crucial, important stage we need to follow. Right? The next one is secondary sexual characters. As I say, that is human, they exhibit sexual dimorphism children as male and female separate. Yeah. So for that differences, the secondary sexual characters are prominent. It said testes and ovaries are the reproductive organs. They produce the gametes, sperm and ova. Okay. Whereas in girls, breasts begin to develop at puberty. Breasts begin to develop at puberty, and boys begin to grow facial hair, that is mustache and beard. As these features help to distinguish the male from the female, they are called secondary sexual characters. Right? Boys also develop hair on the chest. In both boys and girls, hair grows under the arms in the region above the thigh or pubic region. I hope you follow. So these are secondary sexual characters. Right? And then changes which occur at adolescence are controlled by hormones. Hormones detailed video session. And the sex hormone, male hormone is testosterone, female one the estrogen. What are hormones? Hormones are the chemical substances that are secreted by the endocrine gland, and they are poured into they are straight away poured into the bloodstream, where it is taken to the target organ or target site. Yeah. So now these hormones, they are normally from the pituitary. Sex hormone and the flowchart hormones from pituitary stimulate testes and ovaries to release testosterone in male and estrogen in female. Now released in the bloodstream, it reaches the part of the body that is called target organ or target site. Then it stimulates the changes in the body and the onset of puberty. I hope you follow. So this is role of hormone, right? And so we say puberty marks the beginning of reproductive period when one becomes capable of reproduction. And then we have learned about the target site. Yeah. Then reproductive phase of life in human, especially in female. We say in female, before that, adolescents become capable of reproduction when their testes and ovaries begin to produce gametes. Yeah. The capacity for maturation and production of gametes for much longer time in male than the female. Right? So now in female, menstruation and the paragraph. Right? So in female, reproductive phase of life begins at puberty, that is at the age of 10 to 12 years. And generally, it lasts for 45 to 50 years. Okay. Now the ova begin to mature and it is released by the ovary by the process ovulation. Right? And then one mature ovum is released by one of the ovaries, and then the uterine wall is getting ready to receive the fertilized egg. அதுதான் நம்ம வந்து implantation சொல்லுவோம்ல. The fixing of fertilized egg on the wall of the uterine wall is called implantation. About that. So if fertilized egg is forming, then that results in pregnancy, right? If the womb is not fertilized, the unfertilized egg along with the uterine wall is getting shed off as menstrual bleeding, and that process is called menstruation. I hope you follow. And menstruation occurs once in 28 to 30 days in female, right? The first menstrual flow begins at puberty and is termed as menarche. The wording purinjukku. The first menstrual flow begins at puberty and is termed menarche, right? At 45 to 50 years of age, the menstrual cycle stops. That stoppage of menstruation is termed as menopause. Stoppage of menstrual cycle is termed as menopause. I hope you follow. The next one, we have learnt about sex determination that we learnt. In human, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. In that, 22 pairs called autosome and 1 pair called allosome. And that allosome is the sex chromosome. And that sex chromosome, female is represented by XX and male is represented by XY. I hope you remember this. And then this fusion as Singapore, male XY, female and the XX. So now this female X, male Y, the child will be Y. Same way, male X, female X, the child will be girl. That is sex determination in human. I hope you are listening. So this is for sex determination. Detailed video that we will follow. Okay. Then we have learnt about endocrine glands in detail. 2 videos 13, 14. Yeah. So that is endocrine glands as in the base of the brain, hypothalamus region, pituitary gland, which is the master of all the glands. Okay. And it secretes the hormone, somatotropic hormone, that is growth hormone. This growth hormone, the secretion as its hormone, these are the chemical substances which are secreted by the endocrine gland, and they are straight away poured into the bloodstream where it is taken to the target organ. Definition. Yeah. Now these hormones, when if they are secreted in excess, then it has to be inhibited. Yeah. That is inhibited. And if it is in less secretion, it has to be stimulated to do more secretion. I hope you are listening. So that more secretion, hyper secretion, less secretion, hypo secretion. Right? So that is controlled by this pituitary gland. Other endocrine gland secretion, hypo or hyper, that will be controlled by this pituitary gland. Okay. Now this, other than that, this pituitary gland secretes somatotropic hormone, that is growth hormone. If it is hyper secretion, excess, then person will be suffering from condition gigantism. Another 7 feet taller, gigantism. If it is less secretion, then culmination, dwarfism will occur. I hope you recollect this. Video session actually. Then thyroid gland will secrete thyroxine, adrenal gland, adrenaline, pancreas, as I said, alpha cells, glucagon, beta cells, insulin. And pancreas is a dual gland. Right? And then gonads are the testis and ovary. Then recollect. Right? So these are the description. Then come to reproductive health. Physical and mental well-being of an individual is regarded as a reproductive health. To keep the body healthy, every human being at any stage needs to have balanced diet. The person must observe personal hygiene and undertake adequate physical exercise. Right? So nutritional needs should avoid junk food and they should eat balanced diet. Right? So in the pictures balanced diet, you should have a organized diet. You should keep your body with a good physique. The general topic go through for balanced diet. And then for personal hygiene, you should keep your body clean. Cleanliness is important, and it is more necessary for teenagers because increased activity of sweat glands sometimes makes the body to give bad odor. Yeah, so all the parts of the body should be washed and cleaned every day, and it will avoid bacterial infection. And especially girls during their menstrual period should keep your body clean and hygienic. I hope you follow. And then normal physical walking, that's general topic to have a good physique. And at adolescent period, teenagers should be prone to or addicted to drugs or any other narcotic. So you should say no to drugs. I hope you understand. So this is for the lesson chapter 10, reaching the age of adolescence. I hope you understand. Shall I? Have you understood? Shall I go to next? So to now we move on to assignment description. We'll just discuss assignment number 13. What are hormones? Hormones are chemical substances. These are secretions from endocrine glands or endocrine system. Example, thyroid gland secretes thyroxine. I repeat, hormones are chemical substances. These are secretions from endocrine glands or endocrine system. Thyroid gland secretes thyroxine. Then what is target site? What is a target site? Endocrine glands release hormones into the bloodstream to reach a particular body part called target site or target organ. The target site responds to the hormones. I hope you are listening. Then name the endocrine glands: pituitary, somatotropic hormone, that is growth hormone. STH, somatotropic hormone. Then thyroid gland will secrete thyroxine. Pancreas, islet cells, glucagon and insulin. Right? Then name the gland which acts as dual gland, that is pancreas is acting as a dual gland where it is acting as exocrine and endocrine gland. Exocrine part will secrete pancreatic juice, that is the digestive enzyme, whereas endocrine part will secrete islets of Langerhans cells, alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells will secrete glucagon and beta cells will secrete insulin. I hope you follow. Then differentiate between duct gland and ductless gland. Another secretion of digestive enzyme by digestive glands are sent through the duct. Example, liver secretes bile juice reaching duodenum through bile duct. So this is duct gland. Whereas ductless gland, hormone secreted by endocrine poured into the bloodstream. Duct. Yeah. Example, thyroid gland, thyroxine. Go through panna. What are hormone? What is target site? Name the endocrine glands and their secretion. Then name the gland which acts as dual gland. And then differentiate between duct gland and ductless gland. I hope you follow. This is our assignment number 13. Next, assignment 14. Explain the terms implantation, gestation period. The female egg, when it is fertilized, it begins to divide and then gets embedded in the uterine wall. That is called implantation. Otherwise, we say the fixing of the fertilized egg into the uterine wall is called implantation for further development. Whereas gestation period, from the fertilization of the ovum till the birth of the baby, it takes about 9 months. And that period during which the fetus remains inside the uterus is called gestation period. Are you listening? So this is explain the term implantation and gestation period. Then what is menstruation? It's given in our textbook, other definition. If fertilization does not occur, the released egg and the thickened lining of uterus along with this blood vessel shed off. This causes bleeding in women, which is called menstruation. I hope you follow. So if the fertilization does not occur, the released egg, otherwise we say unfertilized egg and the thickened lining of the uterus along with this blood vessel will shed off or will come out as a menstrual blood. It causes menstruation. Then explain the term menarche and menopause. The first menstrual flow begins at puberty and is termed menarche. The first menstrual flow begins at puberty and is termed menarche. And at the age of 45 to 50 years of age, the menstrual cycle stops. This stoppage of menstruation is termed menopause. I hope you understand. Then what is corpus luteum? Especially the girls. The release of ovum by the ovary, which is formed of Graafian follicle. So that empty Graafian follicle, after the release of ovum, it is transformed into a endocrine organ, endocrine gland. Otherwise, we say transitory endocrine gland, which secretes the pregnancy hormone progesterone. So the corpus luteum, and that is called corpus luteum. Endocrine, transitory endocrine gland is called corpus luteum. So the corpus luteum is an important structure needed at the time of pregnancy. It is derived from the empty Graafian follicle after ovulation. The corpus luteum secretes a hormone called progesterone. It is a steroid hormone secreted in a significant amount by corpus luteum and placenta. Here placenta, it is a vascular connection between the mother and the fetus. Then what is the role of hormone in the life cycle of frog and insects? We have learned asexual reproduction, chapter 9. Other than asexual reproduction method, there is a phenomenon called metamorphosis. So metamorphosis is a series change of development, series SERIES, series change of development from egg to an adult. That is called metamorphosis, and it is taking place in frog and insects. So this metamorphosis in insects, it is controlled by an insect hormone that is called ecdysone. Spelling for it, ECDYSONE, ecdysone. Right? In frog, it is controlled by thyroxine. So now this thyroxine produced by thyroid gland. I hope you follow. Again, this thyroxine production requires presence of iodine in water. A tadpole in the water level. So if the water in which tadpoles are growing does not contain sufficient iodine, then the tadpole cannot become adults. This is the role of hormone for frog important. role of thyroxine. சரியா? So இது பாரு assignment number 14 we have learnt implantation, gestation period, menstruation, then menarche and menopause, then corpus luteum and transitory endocrine gland formed from empty fallopian follicle which secretes pregnancy hormone progesterone. Then role of hormone in the life cycle of frog and insects. I hope you understand. The next we do assignment 15 where we say define adolescence. But in the beginning of this video, define adolescence, the period of life when body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity is called adolescence. It begins around the age of 11 and lasts up to 18 or 19 years of age. Yeah? So they are called teenagers. Okay. Then I note on puberty, textbook answer. Human body undergoes several changes during adolescence. These changes mark the onset of puberty. The most important change which marks the puberty is that boys and girls become capable of reproduction. The puberty ends when adolescent reaches reproductive maturity. I hope you understand. Then, what are the changes that occur at puberty? There are several changes. Nama textbook side heading increase in height, changes in voice, changes in body shape of boys and girls, increased activity of sweat and sebaceous gland. Increased activity of sweat and sebaceous gland, development of sex organs, and then reaching mental, intellectual, and emotional maturity. Increase in height due to development of increase in long bones, right? Changes in voice, boys Adam's apple. Change in body shape in boys and girls boys broad shoulder, girls broad waist, hip, right? Then increased activity of sweat and sebaceous gland. Sweat gland secrete sweat, sebaceous gland will secrete sebum, right? Then sex organ development, then reaching mental, intellectual, and emotional maturity. Reaching mental, intellectual, and emotional maturity. Any ladder storing you should be clever enough to take a good climatic situation, friend circle especially, right? And then Adam's apple what are secondary sexual characters? Another, in girls, breasts begin to develop at puberty and boys begin to grow facial hair, that is beard and mustache. As these features help to distinguish male and female, they are called secondary sexual characters. Okay. So in the assignment 15, define adolescence, note on puberty, changes occur at puberty. This is the side heading. Then Adam's apple, secondary sexual characters. Then apply our textbook answers. I hope you follow. The next assignment number 16, where we have crossword puzzle. Nama book word game. First one, across protruding voice box in boys. Protruding voice box on the Adam's apple. Protruding voice box, Adam's apple. Then glands without duct. Glands without duct, endocrine. Endocrine glands are without duct. Then endocrine gland attached with the brain, that is pituitary. Endocrine gland attached with the brain, that is pituitary. Then secretion of endocrine gland is called hormone. Give 8 endocrine gland secretion hormone. Then pancreatic hormone, it is insulin. Number 9 engirukke. Idu vandu insulin. INSULIN. Okay. Pancreatic hormone, insulin. I hope you are listening. Then female hormone, estrogen. Female hormone and estrogen. I hope I am clear. Whereas down and male hormone testosterone secretes thyroxine, secreting by thyroid gland. Another term for teenage adolescence. Hormone reaches here through bloodstream, that is target site, voice box, Adam's apple. Term for changes at adolescence and puberty. So I say male hormone testosterone secretes thyroxine, thyroid gland. Another term for teenage, that is adolescent. Hormone reaches here through bloodstream, target site, voice box, larynx or Adam's apple. Larynx here, larynx. Then term for changes at adolescence, it is puberty. I hope you are listening. So answer for across Adam's apple, endocrine, pituitary, hormone, insulin, estrogen. Whereas down testosterone, thyroid, adolescence, target site, larynx, puberty. I hope you are listening. So these are all as crossword puzzle that we are learning. I hope you understand. So this is our video number 16, where we are doing last part of the assignment number 16 discussion. I hope you have understood. Yes, sir. So this is video 16, where we are completing the lesson chapter 10, reaching the age of adolescence. Are you clear? So we'll continue in the next video session that we will follow. I hope you follow this. So go through the lesson. The main, the reaching the age of the mental, emotional and intellectual ability. That is very important. Please be careful. Have a good human being with a positive attitude. That is very important. So adolescence, you have to follow that. I hope you follow. So we'll continue in the next video session. Have a good day. We'll meet in the next video session. Thank you.